In the quiet suburbs of Phoenix, Arizona, where the desert sun casts long shadows over sprawling neighborhoods, a young girl's disappearance would shatter the illusion of safety and ignite a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Alisa Marie Turney, a 17-year-old high school student with dreams of a brighter future, vanished on May 17, 2001. She was last seen leaving her workplace, a fast food restaurant, but she never made it home. Her disappearance was not just another missing persons case. It was a story of family secrets, betrayal, and a justice system that seemed to turn a blind eye. For years, Alisa's older sister, Sarah Turney, fought tirelessly to uncover the truth, even when it seemed like the world had forgotten her sister. This is the story of Alisa Marie Turney, a story that raises haunting questions about justice, accountability, and the lengths one family would go to in their search for answers. Alisa was a bright, ambitious teenager with a love for music and dreams of becoming a veterinarian. She was described by her friends as kind, funny, and fiercely loyal. But beneath her cheerful exterior, Alisa carried a heavy burden. Her father, Michael Turney, was a former Marine with a history of violence and control. Alisa often confided in her friends about her fear of him, describing a home life filled with tension and surveillance. She had even written in her diary about her desire to escape as soon as she turned 18. Alisa's story is one of resilience in the face of adversity, but it's also a tragic reminder of how quickly a life can be cut short. On May 17, 2001, Alisa left her high school and headed to her part-time job at a local fast food restaurant. She worked her shift, clocked out at 3:30 p.m., and told her coworkers she was heading home. But she never arrived. When Alisa didn't return home that evening, her father, Michael, initially downplayed her absence. He told Sarah that Alisa had likely run away, as teenagers often do. But Sarah wasn't convinced. She knew her sister wouldn't just disappear without a word. As the hours turned into days, Sarah's concern grew into suspicion. She began to question her father's behavior. Why wasn't he more worried? Why hadn't he reported Alisa missing immediately? These questions would haunt Sarah for years to come. Years after Alisa's disappearance, a chilling phone call reignited the investigation. The call came late at night, from a blocked number. The voice on the other end was muffled, almost robotic, as if the caller was using a voice modulator. If you want to know what happened to Alisa Turney, check the old mining tunnels near Black Canyon, the voice said before abruptly hanging up. The tip led investigators to a remote area in the Arizona desert, where they discovered human remains buried beneath a pile of rocks. The remains were partially decomposed, but forensic experts were able to extract DNA. After months of testing, the remains were confirmed to be Alisa's. The discovery was both a relief and a heartbreak for her family. For Sarah, it was a bittersweet moment finally. She had proof that her sister was gone, but it also meant that Alisa's dreams would never be realized. The call raised more questions than answers. Who was the tipster? Were they involved in Alisa's disappearance, or were they a witness trying to do the right thing? The mystery deepened when investigators traced the call to a disposable phone purchased at a convenience store in Phoenix. The trail went cold, but the call was the first real break in the case. As the investigation deepened, a shocking revelation emerged. A serial killer named Marcus the Shadow Reynolds, already serving a life sentence for the murders of 3 young women, confessed to knowing about Alisa's disappearance. During a prison interview, Reynolds claimed that Michael Turney had approached him in 2001, offering $10,000 to make Alisa disappear. Reynolds said he refused the offer, but he knew someone who might have taken it, a man named Victor Graves, a drifter with a history of violence. Reynolds' confession sent shockwaves through the community. Could Michael Turney, Alisa's own father, have orchestrated her murder? Investigators tracked down Victor Graves, but he had died in a car accident in 2005. The lead seemed to go nowhere, but it planted a seed of doubt about Michael's involvement. During a search of Michael Turney's home in 2018, investigators discovered a hidden room in the basement. The room was concealed behind a false wall, accessible only through a trapdoor hidden under a rug. Inside, they found a chilling collection of items. A locked safe containing $50,000 in cash, a handgun with the serial number filed off, a box of photographs, including several of Alisa that appeared to have been taken without her knowledge, a journal filled with Michael's handwritten notes, detailing his obsession with control and his fear of being exposed. The most disturbing discovery was a small, blood-stained piece of fabric that matched the description of the shirt Alisa was wearing the day she disappeared. The hidden room became a focal point of the investigation, but Michael denied any knowledge of its contents. He claimed the room must have been used by a previous owner of the house, but investigators found no evidence to support his claim. Among the items found in the hidden room was a journal belonging to Michael Turney. The entries were filled with paranoid ramblings, violent fantasies, and disturbing references to Alisa. One entry, dated just days before her disappearance, read, "She's getting too close to the truth. I can't let her ruin everything. If she talks, it's over for me. I have no choice." Another entry, written weeks after Alisa vanished, was even more chilling. "The desert is vast, and the sand never gives up its secrets. She's gone, and no one will ever find her." The journal became a key piece of evidence in the case against Michael Turney, painting a picture of a man consumed by paranoia and willing to do anything to protect his secrets. Frustrated by the lack of progress in the investigation, Alisa's sister Sarah turned to social media to keep her sister's story alive. She created a Facebook page, Justice for Alisa, where she shared updates, photos, and memories of her sister. The page quickly gained traction, attracting the attention of true crime enthusiasts and journalists. Sarah's relentless advocacy brought national attention to the case, putting pressure on law enforcement to reopen the investigation. In 2017, Sarah launched a podcast called Finding Alisa, where she interviewed experts, revisited old evidence, and shared her personal journey. The podcast became a sensation, with thousands of listeners tuning in each week. Sarah's efforts paid off when a tip from a podcast listener led investigators to a witness who claimed to have seen Michael Turney arguing with Alisa the day she disappeared. The witness, a former neighbor, had been too afraid to come forward earlier but felt compelled to speak out after hearing Sarah's story. In 2019, nearly 2 decades after Alisa vanished, Michael Turney was arrested and charged with her murder. The arrest was the result of years of painstaking work by investigators and Sarah's unwavering determination. The evidence against Michael was largely circumstantial, but it was compelling. Prosecutors argued that he had the motive, the means, and the opportunity to kill Alisa. They pointed to his history of abusive behavior, his obsession with control, and the suspicious circumstances surrounding her disappearance. Michael's defense team argued that there was no direct evidence linking him to Alisa's death. They claimed that the prosecution's case was built on speculation and hearsay. The trial of Michael Turney was a media sensation. Prosecutors presented a mountain of evidence, including the journal, the hidden room, and the serial killer's confession. One of the most dramatic moments came when Sarah took the stand. She spoke passionately about her sister, describing Alisa as a kind, loving person who deserved justice. Her testimony moved the jury to tears and left a lasting impression on everyone in the courtroom. In the end, the jury found Michael Turney guilty of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Alisa's case teaches us several critical lessons. The importance of listening to victims. Alisa's friends and teachers knew she was afraid of her father, but their concerns were not taken seriously enough. We must listen to those who speak out about abuse and take their claims seriously. 2. The need for systemic change. The delays and missteps in Alisa's case highlight the need for better training and resources for law enforcement when dealing with missing persons cases, especially those involving potential family violence. 3. The power of advocacy. Sarah Turney's relentless fight for justice shows how one person's determination can bring about change. Her use of social media and true crime platforms kept Alisa's story alive and ultimately led to Michael's arrest. 4. Vigilance in our communities. Alisa's case reminds us to be vigilant in our own communities. If something seems off, it's better to speak up than to stay silent. As I reflect on Alisa's story, I'm struck by the resilience of the human spirit. Sarah Turney's unwavering determination to find justice for her sister is nothing short of inspiring. But I'm also deeply troubled by the systemic failures that allowed Michael Turney to evade justice for so long. This case is a stark reminder that justice is not always swift or straightforward. It requires persistence, courage, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Alisa's story is a call to action for all of us to be more vigilant, more compassionate, and more determined in the face of injustice. Alisa's story is one of tragedy, but it is also one of hope. Hope that, even in the face of overwhelming odds, the truth can be uncovered. Hope that one person's voice can make a difference. And hope that, someday, justice will prevail for all those who have been silenced. As we close this chapter, let us remember Alisa not just as a victim, but as a symbol of resilience and the enduring fight for justice. Let her story inspire us to be better, to do better, and to never stop searching for the truth. This is Phantom Mitchell, signing off. Remember, the truth is often hidden in the shadows, but it's our job to bring it into the light.